because there are Social Security homes out there. They're terrible.
I bet.
They're awful because they don't, I mean, they what Social Security, what SSI is paying, what, $1,300, $1,200 a month? Or something
that's
like
nothing.
That.
It's about $1,400 now.
They just raised it.
It just raised
Yeah,
it.
you can't live off that.
No.
It's about 14.
No.
You'll be eating the poorest quality food.
Exactly.
You'll be in a bad area. All right, guys, Boris and Amanda here today. We're going to talk senior homes. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us. Thanks for the opportunity.
absolutely. When did you guys get involved with this industry?
10 years ago.
10 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 10 years now. Real, quick shot of it. We were not in medical. We were not anywhere near this field when we started. I was in automotive. I moved up the food chain in the automotive industry. She was in corporate America.
Yeah.
And my sister, she opened up 2 homes in West LA.
Mm.
And she's the one that told us, like, hey, you should open one of these homes. I was like, dude, you're out your mind. I would never do that. It's not for me. I was like, no way. We wanted to start our own business. We didn't know what. And so then we would just go and help my sister out. And that's how we started learning the business. We're like, you know what? We're going to do this. Do this. So I'll let you talk
Yeah.
about the
So when we
sacrifice.
first started our business, we didn't have money to start. So we gave up our primary residence, moved into the 300 square foot ADU on the property.
Wow.
Yeah. Huge sacrifice, right? And I also had a 1-year-old at the time.
Jeez.
And we just wanted a way to stay home with our daughter, to raise our family, not have to hire anybody, not have to send her to daycare. So we found the perfect opportunity in a residential setting to also care for seniors while I was raising my family. So fast forward 2 years, our business did so well, we were able to afford a second property in LA. So that tells you a lot.
Yeah. It ain't cheap in LA.
It's not cheap.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we were able to afford a second property. Day after we close escrow on that property, I find out I'm pregnant with my son. So here we are, 4 of us with 2 dogs, 2 labs, in
Gotta
a
have the dogs.
300 square foot ADU.
That's insane.
Yes. But I think people don't realize how much sacrifice it takes to become an entrepreneur and all the hours and late nights you put in making this dream of yours become a reality. So we just kept steamrolling. We were extremely successful and we just wanted to see our business grow. And we now have 3 locations in LA, middle of construction on another property right now.
We just got another property.
Yeah.
You guys love LA, huh?
Not
No.
really.
No.
No, anyways, I love my Cowboys. I love Texas. We love Texas.
Yeah.
So it's funny you bring that up because we were going to move to Texas this year.
Yeah.
And last year we were just going to sell our company, just be done with California. It's just California's overregulated.
Yeah.
It's not a good family environment. It's not, they don't have the values I do. It's different. But anyhow, we hired a business coach and he was the one that was like, dude, what are you doing? You'd be so stupid to sell your business. Like, do you realize what you're doing? Like, do you realize the opportunity in front of you? It's like, and you should be coaching. You should be coaching people to open these homes.
Right.
And I think, you miss so many opportunities when you just dive your head in and you're doing the work in and day out. And you miss all these other things, right? And so that's when we started looking for mentorship and working and expanding. And so here we are. But is LA, it's okay. It's home. It's where I grew up and we grew up and that's where family is. But
it's good for business. I'll go there for a day, a month, but I can't stand it for more than a few days personally.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say it's good for business because for our business, it actually really is great for business. So we own residential senior care facilities. In California, you're allowed to have 6 seniors in a residential home. Your neighbors don't even know you exist. And that's a California loophole. You don't have to deal with zoning laws or conditional use permits. You're still considered residential.
Oh, wow.
So we get to become real estate investors. We own the properties we run our business out of. So our business pays the mortgage.
Smart.
Very. So all of our properties that we own are true assets because you already know, real estate too. Properties are not assets.
No.
Grant Cardone said that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's the worst investment you can make.
Exactly. So for us, my business pays the mortgage and we still get the equity, the appreciation, all of that, right? So now in LA specifically, there's a lot of programs that have been rolled out to help low-income seniors afford housing in the residential settings because we're considered boutique and custom care. Oftentimes I think you mentioned this on a podcast recently and you're like, nursing homes, like, oh God, no, like I never want to live in a nursing home. They're terrible.
Sounds miserable to me.
Yeah. And it really does. 90% of our clients come from the large nursing home settings because they just don't have the proper ratios. I'll let you get into that. Yeah,
because it's like a 20-to-1 ratio for them, right?
Yeah, it is. And then also the levels of care are different, right? When you're in the big box facilities that have, 100 beds up, 200 beds, whatever, it's more like an independent living. So these people, they're just doing their own thing. It's almost like a resort, right? But then as they age and place, they need more care. And so then at that point, what are the options? In-home care, where they go to their home, they have somebody. Right now, to have somebody come into your home to care for you 24 hours a day, you're looking at minimum $20,000 per month.
Damn. That's a lot.
And here's the funny thing that I always talk to people about. You're like, you think retirement, right? What do you think? Flip-flops, Bahamas, travel, right? No. Your retirement, you're saving for somebody to care for you when you get older. Because we're living longer. Technology, medicine, it's allowing us to live longer.
Right. And the average person retires with like barely any money these days too.
Yeah.
Correct. Because the generations we're caring for right now, they were very good with their money. I don't know what's going to happen with the generations coming in because we're not doing a good job with the money, right? There's long-term care insurance, which is, it's a big thing. Anybody 50 and up should really look into long-term care insurance. There's a lot of good companies out there, but what we do is we're in a residential setting, as we mentioned. We can only have 6 seniors. And so we customize the care. Now, we're not a medical facility. A lot of people say, are you medical? No. We are a social model of care, not a medical facility. And so what we do is we partner with the residents, primary health. If they have home health, then with them, hospice, because we do all the way to end-of-life care.
Got it.
And so we're partnered with them to work with them. So we are considered, we're administrators, but we're also caregivers. We don't hire nurses, doctors, anybody. We're caregivers.
Wow.
Yeah. And so as administrators, certified administrators by the Department of Social Services, we are allowed to train our caregivers. There's certain things our caregivers and us, we're not allowed to do because we don't have a medical license. But for anybody out there who is a nurse or has a medical license, injection, suppository, some of those sorts of things that we're not allowed to do, they're allowed to do it.
And then you can also, what we do in our homes, you partner with home health agencies, hospice agencies. You work with the primary doctor where they send the medical team into your care facility. So our seniors, they don't have to leave the home. There's so many services that are brought in. So there's telehealth visits now. There's phlebotomists that draw blood at the facility. And there's mobile x-rays. There's mobile dentists. There's so many in-home services available now that our seniors, when they come to us, they can come to us from if they're independent, all the way through end of life, and they don't have to move if they decline in their condition.
Yeah.
Boris I think you had mentioned, retirement. People are retiring young age. Well, we've had seniors in our care facilities, 65 years old, with full dementia, can't even recognize their family members anymore.
Damn.
Can't have full conversations, can't even speak. We've seen a full spectrum. So talk about perspective on life. Enjoy your life now.
Yeah.
Right? Live your life, enjoy it, but also come up with a plan so that your family doesn't have to worry about what to do when you get to that age of needing care. You're set up also. But it's an amazing industry to get into, and it's provided us such an amazing lifestyle. We get to travel. We've got kids. We're at all of the sporting events with them. Our kids are super active in everything. My son is 8. My daughter's 10. There's golf. There's jujitsu. There's football. We're at it all because we've created that balance where we get to actually actively participate in their life as well without having to, be sitting behind a desk all day long.
Beautiful.
We're also very involved with our kids' school.
Yeah.
So
that's important.
Very important because a lot of people like to complain about the school and what's going on, but they don't take the time.
Yeah,
to
they
get
don't take
involved.
action. Yeah.
Or they're not.
Ever thought about how much EMF and radiation your body is exposed to every single day? From smartphones to Wi-Fi, modern technology never stops emitting invisible stressors that could disrupt brain function, hormone balance, and cellular health. That's where Aries comes in, the only scientifically validated solution designed to help your body adapt to today's technology. It's trusted by elite athletes, used by the UFC, WWE, Canada Basketball, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's backed by science, 100+ scientists, and 40+ institutions confirm its effectiveness. It's patented, peer-reviewed, clinically proven, and publicly traded Wi-Fi is the most tested, researched, and validated EMF solution on the market. Upgrade your biology to keep up with modern technology. Protect yourself with Aries today. Click the link below to learn more.
That's great, except that was Aries tech. Cool.
Allowed. They don't have the time. They don't have
Right.
the means of being able time-wise to get involved. So like she's head of one committee, I'm head of another committee.
Nice.
So we've been very involved, and and that's really the reality of why we started a business, to be involved with the family.
Yeah.
And it really, if you do something for reasons other than money, you will be successful. If your heart's in the right place, I really believe you're going to be successful.
Can't only be money.
It can't.
No.
It's not long term.
Money is just a tool to do other things.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, money is just a tool. And if your objective is money, then that's not a very good.
No, that's when you see burnout. That's when you see mental health issues.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to truly enjoy what you're doing. So as true entrepreneurs, last year, because we were bored like most entrepreneurs, you're bored, you've got nothing else to do. Let's start another business, right? Yeah. So we started a coaching business by accident, actually. We were on another podcast and somebody found us on YouTube and they're like, that is amazing what you do. We're not far from you. We want to learn how to get into this industry. We're extremely interested. Let's set up a meeting. We're like, sure, we'll talk to you guys. And so they came over, we sat down, had a conversation about what the industry is, went through, the full steps to get started. They're like, perfect. We want to sign on. How much? We're like, Boris and I started each other. We're like,
I just threw a number out there.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this number. And they're like, where do I send it? I'm like,
and I was like,
That's a good sign.
I'm like, I'll send you a link in 30 minutes. And so here I was on Stan Store and I'm like creating it on the spot and then sent it over and they signed up. I'm like, there you have it. We have a coaching program. So now, it's been a few months. So it's all built out now. We've got several students and it's so amazing to see people take action and not just sign up for something because it's like the new fad out there. Like, no, they're legitimately purchasing properties that will become investments and converting them into senior care facilities so that they can help people in their community.
Right.
There's so many seniors that need help right now. And it's such a feel-good business knowing that you're making an impact. When you hear the stories and you meet face-to-face with families looking for mom or dad who fell at home or who need assistance or they're just burnt out. Children are just burnt out and they're getting injured themselves. So being able to help them feels so amazing. And then, just in the city and the involvement that we have in our own community.
Yeah, we make sure to give back to our community, our city that, where we're based out of. We've always, we sponsor the golf tournament for the police department.
Nice.
Our fire department, because our paramedics, it's a small city. It's out, 15 minutes outside of LA. So it's small. And so the fire department, we know the chief, we know a lot of the paramedics. So they, we call them 911 for our facilities. They come out, so they know us. Yeah. So it's very important to give back. That's one thing that we've always kept in mind, giving back to the community, because if they're giving so much to us that it's the least you could do.
Yeah, right? Community is super important.
It's very important. It's something we've always talked about, and everything that we're doing, we're teaching our kids, right? Give back, be grateful for what you're doing and whatnot. But touching back a little bit about the coaching program that you talked about, there's a lot of people that have called us and they're like, Airbnb, we're getting a lot of people from Airbnbs.
Yeah, that market crashed, right?
It's going bad. Yeah, it's bad because it's oversaturated and now they're being overregulated. We're the opposite. Who would really want to lobby against us? If you think about it, what big industries out there, insurances and pharma, we're really helping them. Yeah. Because if we can keep seniors out of nursing homes, A nursing home stay per month is about $50,000.
Jeez.
We had this one resident that moved in a few months ago, and in his discharge paper, there was a bill for his 1 month stay. He had a stroke.
Mhm.
$50,000.
Oh my gosh.
1 month.
That was billed to insurance.
That's insane.
Yeah. And so you imagine if you don't have the proper insurance, and your insurance only covers you for so long, what do you do now?
Right.
So
Mhm.
once again, we offer an affordable option for people to place their loved ones. And as Amanda said earlier, I call this one, there's industries that are called the oh shit industries. Like, oh shit, what do I do?
Mm.
Funerals were one of them.
Mhm.
It's like something happens, you're like, oh shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
And so that's us. And these families, they don't understand they think that out of nowhere this happened. Well, one thing we're seeing a lot is dementia.
Mhm.
Alzheimer's being a type of dementia. And people don't realize you really start dementia at your early 30s.
That early?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know how you always say like, oh, where did I put my keys?
Yeah.
Or oh, what did I just tell? We just had this conversation yesterday. What was it about? Or who did I just meet?
Yeah, I could see that. Early onset Alzheimer's, they call it, right?
Yeah. And so then when it's like noticeable and full blown, as Amanda said earlier, like they don't recognize the family. They're hitting the family.
Wow.
They're,
That's scary.
the daughter, hey, you're this, you're that, calling them all kinds of names. And so for the families, it's emotionally taxing. It's physically taxing, financially taxing. And so when they come to us, they're just, they don't know where to turn.
Right.
And so we work with placement agencies. Placement agencies will, they have contracts with like the hospitals and nursing homes, and then they refer them to us. Along with, us now being in the industry for 10 years, we have a good reputation. We've been very blessed to never have a deficiency because DSS always checks our homes every year, which is good, right? So we've never had a deficiency. We've always ran a clean home.
Nice.
And so they were one of the preferred homes in LA. And the families don't know where to turn. So for anybody out there who needs help with their senior, their loved one, look for placement agencies. They help you for free. So they're the ones that contact us.
Really? So they'll give you clients for free?
Not to us. We pay.
Oh, got it.
We pay the referral agencies, but the families don't pay.
Oh, wow. So it's a win-win, I guess, because you're getting a long-term client and
Correct.
they're not paying too much.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, and they will assess the situation too. They will see if, what place fits them or whatnot. But going back a little bit about our coaching program, I was mentioning Airbnbs.
Yeah.
They're tanking, right? So we help the insurance companies and pharma. Like we're not tapping into their pockets. We're helping them. And so there really isn't nobody that's going to try to shut this industry down like Uber or Airbnb kind of thing, right? And so a lot of these people with Airbnbs are calling us and saying, hey, what do I do with my investments? And we've turned people down from our coaching program because if your heart is not in senior care and wanting to help seniors, we're not gonna accept them.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of bad homes out there. I mean, we talked about that earlier. You mentioned that. And we don't want to contribute to that. We want to contribute to the lives of these seniors and help the families.
I love that.
Yeah. So we talk about that. Like you mentioned nursing home, never want, okay, what's so miserable? Like what's the first thing you think of when you hear nursing home?
Just bad emotions, 20-to-1 ratio. Not a good way to go out in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So in a residential setting, we get to customize everything we do for the seniors. We have family inputs. We sit down, have a full-on meeting. But because it's so small with only 6 seniors, think about it. You've already lived this long, independent life. And now you're living in a home or even a nursing home where you're being told what to do all day long.
Right.
When in terms of dementia, that's actually a good thing, having a routine, but also having the ability to say, I really don't want to do that activity. I don't want to play bingo again today. We did that yesterday. I want to read a book today, or I want to do something else today. So they have the freedom to make those decisions and to kind of customize what their day-to-day looks like.
Yeah.
In comparing nursing homes to residential settings, on average, in a residential setting, your monthly cost is anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Shared room, private room, depending on, what the preference is for the family. The area, of course, makes a difference too. As an owner of these facilities, after your overhead, after your mortgage is covered, you're actually netting about $10,000 per home.
Wow.
So talk about an investment. Yeah, absolutely.
Is that per month or is that
Per month.
$10,000 per month? Wow.
Per month.
And
That's
that's
pretty good.
after the home is being paid for.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
So we
Yeah.
call this the McDonald's model.
Yeah.
McDonald's is not in the business of hamburgers,
Real estate, right?
real estate. And so this is what you're doing.
Mm.
Exactly.
You're able to grow your portfolio
Mm-hmm.
on a residential home and have a business that is recession proof. During COVID, we were very blessed. I mean, we've been blessed for 10 years, but during COVID, people preferred our homes than the big nursing homes because there's not a lot of people coming in and out. I mean, caregiver ratio is 2 to 1 for us,
Mm-hmm.
So the quality of care is there.
Right.
And so you're able to grow your portfolio at the same time. Now, there's people like one of our properties, it's a lease. So you can lease a property also.
If you don't have enough.
If
Yeah.
you don't have enough, California obviously is really expensive.
Right.
So that is another possibility. And that's another, we have one of our students, we were on a call with him right before we came out here
Mm-hmm.
and we helped him negotiate his lease.
Wow.
It was kind of based off of our lease that we have. And so there's a lot of people that are hesitant to lease their home to an RCFE, as they're known in California. There's a lot of positives, a lot of pros to doing that versus renting it to a single family, especially in California, because of the tenant landlord laws. So you're leasing it to a corporation. You're doing a long-term lease. And as I mentioned earlier, another thing, you can ask for a higher rate than your average single family home because you're leasing it to a business. And most importantly, because as I mentioned before, DSS comes out every year to inspect your property, you're forced to keep it in good condition. Otherwise, they're going to get cited and eventually shut down.
Right.
And so those are a lot of positives for landlords. That now, what's a drawback? People are going to die in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're also building, a business model there where if, let's say, I don't renew my lease in 10 years, you can lease it to another, but as somebody else is going to do an RCFE. This business isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, like you said earlier, 57 million seniors. Right now, there might not even be enough senior homes, right?
There are not.
There's
not.
There's a shortage right now. So government has actually rolled out programs, and they're called waiver programs. In California, we have Medi-Cal. Nationwide, it's called Medicaid. Medi-Cal waiver programs are now available to low-income seniors if they qualify for it. And they pay equivalent rates to private pay. So I mentioned the $5,000 to $10,000 per bed in a care facility. Medi-Cal is actually covering equivalent rates to that.
Wow.
Yes. So it's a great option, not only for the low income seniors, but seniors who have had pensions or savings or properties that they're selling, or even the long-term care insurance that we mentioned earlier. These are all great options for seniors to pay for their care. So there's endless possibilities. We see it often. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look into the long-term care insurance. I never heard of that, so that's good to know for my mother in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I
how old's your
recommend
mom?
it.
She's just turned 60, man. It's getting scary. In the 60s now. Yeah.
So she's still young.
That's young.
That's
You think
young.
so?
Oh,
It's all
yeah.
relative, I guess.
I just admitted a new client this week, 98 years old.
Damn.
And we've cared for 64 all the way to 104.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I got a story about the 104 after this.
Yeah, I got to hear that.
Yeah, we have so many stories we can share.
104, what a run.
Oh, yeah. And she was only taking supplements, like no major medications. She didn't
Really?
even have memory issues.
That's even more shocking because by the time they're that age, they're on like 5 supplements usually, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Or
on like
5
10 right now.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I
not
got-
supplements.
not supplements.
Medication.
Medication.
Medications? No,
Yeah.
no. But supplements, yeah, I'm like on a bunch.
Yeah, supplements are different.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the medication from pharma. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, there's.
She didn't take any medication.
That's impressive.
Just supplements.
where'd she grow up? Because
She was Japanese.
that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those Japanese.
They have
Yes.
the genes.
They have
Yeah.
amazing
The
genes, actually.
I'm Mexican. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexicans don't age that as long, right?
No, we eat a lot of crap.
A lot
And
of
tequila.
I think a lot of grain.
Yes.
the tortilla and
Yeah.
the chips and
Yeah.
I mean, but the meats too, the carnitas, the greasy stuff.
pork's a controversial one.
Tequila is the healthiest alcohol you can have.
It
So
is.
don't knock our tequila
I won't
down.
knock tequila.
I have heard that actually.
I like a margarita.
Good margarita
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah. But
Oh, our senior, the 98-year-old I just admitted, she survived the atomic bomb.
What? She
Oh,
was
you found
in
out?
Japan?
She was in Japan. She survived the atomic bomb.
Holy crap.
Isn't that incredible?
That's insane.
We hear these stories often. So many. I mean, we had one resident.
Yeah, we have this gentleman, and I love sitting and just talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a contractor, but we're sitting there. I'm talking to him, and he's like, I remember when I was 9 years old and I was in school, and the teacher came in and said that Pearl Harbor had just been bombed, and I was like, what was going through your mind at 9 years old? And he's like, I just knew we were going to go to war.
Wow.
I just wasn't sure if the war was going to be here and we're going to have war in America or what was happening. I mean, it's a 9-year-old child. And so I said, that was your 9/11.
Wow.
For us, think about it. Like, I mean, how many years down the line, we're going to talk about 9/11. People were not around that time.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I remember that day clear as day. And so, and then the lady who was 104, she refused the COVID vaccine.
Mm.
And this was late 2022
Mhm.
because we were fortunate enough to not have any COVID breakouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had
Well
none.
done. Well done.
Yeah. Thanks.
We were very
They
thankful.
were pressuring all the elderly to get it too, which
Yeah, they were.
that was
And
messed up.
we were the first.
Yeah. We were actually, because they kind of grouped us in with nursing homes.
Mhm.
So first was law enforcement, first responders,
Mm.
and then we were the second tier.
Got it.
And so we had to get the shot
Damn.
because it was either that or we could lose our business.
Wow. They made, oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And so, but I did say my kids will never get that shot. Never.
Mhm.
Hell no.
No
Never.
way.
You know,
That's nuts.
That's what you do as a parent, though. Like, you do what you have to do to
right.
protect your children.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
we had to do what we had to do to protect our business.
Yeah.
And so we were very fortunate
Yeah.
because we have really good staff.
Mm.
I love our staff. They're amazing. I
Yeah.
love every single one of them. And they took it all seriously. I mean, we had precautions. We
Mhm.
already had really good cleaning, precautions and procedures prior to COVID, it just made it easier. Like people are like, oh, wash your hands. Or you weren't washing your hands
don't
before.
you do that
Like,
already?
Some people go to the bathroom and do not
Yeah.
wash. I can tell you
Well,
that for
I
sure.
see it now. You're so much more aware of people's
Yeah.
habits now, I feel like.
I mean, when I'm at the airport, you'd be surprised who
Oh, yeah.
doesn't wash their hands.
Oh, I'm at the gym. Like we go to the gym
Yeah.
every day, and like people are just walking.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gross.
man. But anyhow, so like disinfecting, cleaning,
Yeah.
that's something we would always do. And so our staff really took it seriously, and we took it to the next level where we never had a COVID outbreak when it was like,
When everybody was, yeah.
when it was
Yeah.
like the beginning of it was like
Yeah.
really bad. We did have a few clients down the line who had COVID,
Mm.
and she was one of them, the 104-year-old one. She had no vaccine. She survived it.
Wow.
She survived COVID, and her daughter said she survived the Spanish flu. She can survive this.
The Spanish flu.
That's why she
I
refused.
learned about that in the
Yeah.
history books.
Yeah.
And someone actually had that in your facility.
Yeah.
Well, she said, I don't need the COVID vaccine because I already survived the Spanish flu. So if I can survive that, why do I need
Yeah, wasn't that like 1912 or something? Something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you think about some of these stories
Yeah.
that are going to the grave.
Yeah.
And they're not being documented. So that's one thing I do want to start working on is documenting the stories of these seniors.
You should do a pod with some of them.
We should. We
Yeah.
really should. We had one who lived in the Japanese encampments.
Wow.
In
Yeah, these
LA.
are stories that need to be passed down. There's a
Yeah.
group on TikTok called Retirement House, and it's just
I saw that.
You saw them?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they've been on the pod. It's like, one of them just passed away, but I think it's 5 of them.
Oh, I know them. I
Yeah,
know them.
yeah.
Yeah, but they got millions of views because it's just like their stories. They're all like 80 to 100 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think we value our seniors like
No.
other cultures do.
Not like Japan, not like
Right.
other cultures, because these guys are wise.
Yeah.
They've seen a lot of stuff.
Right.
It's
And-
kind of taboo though to, you think about it, especially like as Hispanics, putting your mom or dad in a nursing home setting, in a care facility, it's kind of taboo because you're supposed to take care of your own too.
Oh, really?
But we also live in a generation where you need double income. So how do you continue to work and provide for your family? And now you have an aging parent. It's called the sandwich generation. You've got your aging parent plus young children. You're stuck in the middle, still holding a job down, and you're trying to balance both, and you can't.
Yeah.
So that's why they seek help, and that's why they would prefer like a home-like environment versus, you know, the large institutionalized.
That's a good point because, our grandparents' generation, just the father had to work.
Yes.
Not even the mother. Now it's like both have to work, and some of them need 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And they got to take care of their parents and their kids at the same time.
Right. I mean,
Times
you look
have
at the
changed.
expenses that you incur in all of this. It's just it's crazy, you know. And that's not even talking about the medical stuff, the medical part of it.
Right.
You know, it gets up there. It really gets up there. And
I've heard they're going to be out of Social Security in like 7-8 years.
they've been saying that for a while,
Oh, really?
but I wouldn't be surprised. And in reality, and you know, it's funny. Not funny, but I'm glad you bring up Social Security because there are Social Security homes out there.
Mhm.
They're terrible.
I bet.
They're awful because they don't, I mean, they what Social Security, what SSI is paying, what, $1,300, $1,200 a month or something?
that's
like that.
nothing.
It's about $1,400 now.
They just raised
It
it.
just raised.
Yeah, you can't live off that.
No,
It's about
no,
$1,400.
You'll be eating the poorest quality food.
exactly.
You'll be in a bad area.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, these homes, like you walk in there and that smell that comes to your mind, that's exactly the smell that you're going to get.
Oh
You're
my
laughing
God.
because you can smell it.
That's a shame, man. And
Yeah.
they're just seeing Elon exposing that fraud too with Social Security.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of people over the age of 140 collecting money, allegedly.
It's ridiculous.
It's nuts.
I mean, there's just so much fraud and so much corruption that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that need this. I mean, we live in the greatest country in the world. I always talk about that because I came as an immigrant. I came here when I was 7 years old.
From Mexico, right?
From Mexico. Yeah, I was born in Guadalajara. I came here with nothing. We were dirt poor, like absolutely came from nothing. And this is like, I'm Mexican, but this is home. America's home because it has given me my family, my business, this lifestyle that allowed me to work my rear for. And so we live in the greatest country in the world that has so much wealth, so much opportunity. This should not be squandered. And there's so much for everybody in this country if you want it bad enough. But the opportunities are out there.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to want it. You got to want it.
I agree.
And if you cut away the corruption, there's going to be so much more opportunity for other people.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. With California legislator, like, is that making it really tough with you guys, with all the new laws and everything?
I think California is definitely the highest regulated for senior care. Absolutely. But I mean, we've been running our homes for 10 years now that we've got it down, right? They roll out a new policy. We need to update something, not a big deal. Update it, get it done. I think it's going to help us really grow and expand to other states because we are the highest regulated. That means whatever state we enter into next would be a lot easier because running the day-to-day of the home, running the actual home, that applies to any state really. It's just the paperwork. So is it a lot of paperwork? Yeah, for sure. A lot of paper shuffling happening. But I think it's also a good thing because when you're taking care of seniors, you need to make sure that you actually have or are providing quality care. We hear the stories of abuse and neglect, isolation. And when you run a good, clean home, you avoid all of those issues. We get asked this question quite often, actually, is there a lot of liability?
Yeah.
There's liability in any business you get into, right? There's risk anywhere. But if you run a proper business and not just running the actual home of it, but the back end, the stuff the boring stuff that nobody sees, your paperwork, your documents, making sure it's all in line, then you eliminate, all of that liability because you're documenting everything, you're communicating, you're making sure that you're running a clean business. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, I think any industry you get into, there's liability.
I agree.
Yeah, I think California has done a pretty decent job, which is very surprising that they've done a good job at something.
Don't hear that from Cali often.
No. But they have tried to legislate some bonehead stuff, and that's been shut down. But I think for the most part, they're doing a good job for senior care. Can they do better? Absolutely. I think one of the things that they need to really look into and expand is allowing RCFEs to have a higher capacity. I know Arizona, I believe, is 10.
Yeah.
Texas is 10. Actually, in Texas, your local city will let you know how many you can have. You can have up to 12. We actually have our administrator certificate from Texas. We got in within like a day.
Wow.
Super easy. In California, you have to take an 80-hour course.
Jeez.
Then you have to take a test.
Yeah.
So just the process alone in California is a little bit more lengthy. But I think Florida is also 10 to 12 seniors per home. And so I really think that would really benefit the seniors. It'll benefit the state. It'll benefit a lot of people, where if you can expand the capacity and allow us to have more seniors in the homes, that's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of going back to what she was talking about, the back end part of the business. That's something that for some reason our business is very tight-lipped. Owners and operators don't really share what they're doing. They don't really talk about what they're doing. And this is where our coaching program comes into play, because we're basically showing people how from start to finish open up a home, but not just that, how to run the home, how to efficiently run it, the business portion of it, right? What things to implement in your home are day to day, how to your caregiver, how to train your caregivers, how to put activities and things that are going to benefit your seniors, right? I always talk about this. When we started our business, we probably lost over $100,000 in mistakes.
Yeah.
Our second home that we purchased, we had a bad contractor. He probably took about 50 to 60,000.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that house was a nightmare.
What was he doing?
Stealing stuff, like just stealing money and just being shady and dirty. Listen, I leave it up to God. I can deal with it later.
I'm the same way.
I'm not gonna worry about it. But so we learned a lot from that, and that's what we're teaching our students.
We also learned some tax loopholes too. So our family dog, we got him trained as a therapy dog. He's an employee of our business now.
No way.
So we've got the mobile groomer who comes out, the dog toys,
I need to
dog
do that.
food.
I got 2 dogs.
Yeah, well, they have to sit here on the podcast with you.
I wouldn't mind bringing them to the studio.
You
Emotional
should.
support.
You should, absolutely.
Yeah. Get the guests nice and comfortable.
There you go.
You know?
And now it's a business expense.
Yeah, that's a smart one. I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of the classic ones, like the car write-offs and the jet and stuff, the meals. But
We
the
have
dog
those
is
too,
cool.
But the dog.
He's a trained, certified therapy dog.
Wow.
He's not a service dog. So a lot of people get him confused. He's a therapy dog. So I don't take him to the store and do all that.
Yeah.
He wears his vest, it's really funny. When he wears his vest, he knows he's going to work. So he's a chocolate lab.
Yeah.
He's all over our Instagram pages. So you can look him up. His name is Charlie. And when he's working, he's working. He's like, knows what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. You take that vest off, it's just like us on Friday night.
I love that.
We're out of work. I'm going to mess around.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the neighbors used to call him the meth lab because he was so crazy and wild, just running the zoomies. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, zoomies.
The zoomies, yeah.
I love when my dogs get the zoomies.
Yeah, and then we also have our kids. They're
employees.
They're employees.
Yeah.
And they're legitimate employees. My kids go into the facilities.
Mm-hmm.
They do age-appropriate things with their seniors. They'll color, they'll, play
Word
bingo
search.
or whatever. So
yeah,
there's a lot of advantages and a lot of opportunities. And it's also teaching our kids a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, during Christmas, my daughter's Girl Scout troop will come over and sing off-tune Christmas carols with the seniors.
Oh, that's adorable. That's so cool.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts come over and it's super fun. It's really nice.
I
And
love
then
that.
Seniors love kids and dogs.
Yeah. There's a lot of similar energy there, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of innocent energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing business.
Where can people learn from your coaching, hit you guys up, and learn more about this stuff?
They can send us a message on Instagram. We're on Instagram. Mine is Boris V. Palomino.
Yeah, you can find me on Amanda Palamino on Instagram as well. We've got links there. All our information is up there as well.
Beautiful. If you're interested, guys, check them out. Anything else you guys want to close off with?
Just once again, thanking you for giving us a platform, because they really there's need to be more awareness for seniors, senior care, and taking care of our senior community, because it affects all of us. You know, I think people think, well, I'm not old yet, it's not gonna affect me. Well, if you don't have a loved one, it's gonna affect you, you know, sooner or later. And if you do have a loved one that is nearing those age, it's gonna hit you before you know it. So these are things to start thinking about, planning. And on the business side of it, we need more homes. We need to help more of our seniors. So thank you for giving us this platform to be able to share this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hit them up, guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.